The Leo and Danny show. But Johnny, my girlfriend and I were at one of those hip Beverly Hills cafes yesterday.
Nice.
And we played a little game called Guess Which Table is European. You can always tell, and it really pisses me off, just by the expression on the fucker's face.
Yeah, that's right.
It looks like he is halfway through a warhead. He's almost to the sweet portion,
right?
But there's still a little bit of that tang. Just
nothing's ever quite good enough.
Never.
Nothing's ever quite fucking good enough. It makes me so goddamn mad. Like, hit the bricks. Go back to the other side of the pond. You don't like how we do shit.
Literally
I hate
bricks,
that.
because they have cobblestone streets. And I wonder what these guys are thinking about. Or Johnny, what could they be so pissed off about? Because is there an easier life than being, for instance, a Frenchman, which
right.
is the most stereotypical
right.
and worst kind of European?
That's right. You get to cheat on your wife legally.
Yep.
Okay. That's totally cool over there. Mm-hmm. You get all of August off every year. Your health care is paid for.
Yep.
Okay. You just drink wine. You eat carbs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Go to bullfights.
Did they do that in France?
Probably. I
what
feel
would
like
they fight in France?
Frogs.
That's right. That's why
they would
used
fight
to call
frogs.
them frogs. Used to call a Frenchman a frog. Yeah.
Used to.
Yeah. Well, I still do. You're right.
If you look at a table of European women, they look like total bitches. So I believe that's probably why the men look so dissatisfied with life, is because the women just look like total cunts.
Well, they're complete pessimists, but they don't do shit about it. You know, that's what happens when you're lazy. When you're not, like, you never see a Mexican, you never see a table full of Mexicans, you know, at Burger King.
Yeah.
Like, they're fucking grateful, you know, because they got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know, when you're busy, you don't have time to think about the bigger questions.
That's
you
why
know?
they all have those fucking depressing poets, like the Stranger or whatever that fucking who wrote that shit?
Albert Camus.
All the Camus garbage that only comes about when the average job is working at a bodega. Like, I feel like every Frenchman works at a bodega for 4 hours a day, then gets off and complains and writes poetry.
Yeah, and takes a nap in between that.
Yeah, they have a siesta, even though they're not Spanish.
Have you read The Stranger?
No.
It's literally just about a guy's week in France in like the 40s. Mm-hmm. He's like going swimming in the middle of the work week. He's like meeting broads. He's smoking. He's napping. He's like writing on his typewriter on his veranda.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the deal, guy? How much better do you want it?
3 p.m. I rode my bicyclette to the Eiffel Tower. And then we went down to the Champs-Elysees. Then they take a little nap.
That's right.
That's Albert Camus's masterpiece, alleged masterpiece.
Right. And then of course what happens? The fucking Nazis invade, the Jerrys invade, and who's got to come clean it up? Our boys.
Good.
And I don't see a fucking thank you. That's why when I serve a Frenchman at a fucking restaurant, you better be kissing the ground I walk on, you fuck, or you be speaking German.
Yeah, great military strategy, by the way. Albert Camus. It's called Imagine Online. We set up several machine guns. We wait, and the Germans come forward. We kill the Germans. Hitler goes 9 around that fucking thing. He's in Paris in 3 weeks, bitch.
That's right.
Leave it to the French. When they got raided by the Germans, they were still flying biplanes from 1909.
Yeah.
Orville Wright was a consultant on the French Air Force, okay? And they thought they were going to contend with the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, no, they took France over like faster, you know, in like a week and a half. They took the entire country of France over.
About the time it took to march from Berlin to Paris is the time it took to take over the country.
They just couldn't get there fast enough.
Yeah. They wanted to go rape some French women, so they actually jogged the last leg of the journey.
That's right.
And it boosted their arrival time.
Dude, and it took them to actually take Greece, a country 3 times smaller, took them like a year. They had to call in the reinforcements.
Yeah.
The Italians couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Dude, it took like the entire Axis army just to take a bunch of fucking dirty gay Greek men. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they took down the French. The French were like, dude, you have it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just... But fuck my wife. I'm tired of the bitch. Yeah. You know?
Hey, fuck my daughter. You can take all of my... Just let me go. Yeah, well, the reason it took so long with the Greeks is it's really difficult for German rounds to penetrate their back hair. And
that's right.
There's a hairy Greek joke.
They just put their fat Greek women up on the front line, dude. they need the Panzer tanks to run them over.
Oh, it's great, dude. The Germans needed armor to get through the fat Greek women. They needed the Panzers and the Tigers.
Yeah, they kept slipping on that fucking dirty Greek yogurt. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was laid out like bananas in Mario Kart as a deterrent to the Germans. You look so bored, Brooks. World War II history, not your thing?
He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm more of a Revolutionary War kind of guy.
Okay.
Well, I guess that was an important war.
The Revolutionary War? Yeah, I mean, I guess
What's so cool about that? I mean, you know, it just started the country.
There was a general in the Revolutionary War on the English side named John Burgoyne, and I always liked him. I took one military history class in community college because I guess he was just fucking whores, and he was just fucking all the village women whenever his army would occupy a town,
yeah.
and he loved gambling.
Yeah.
Other generals were up like, no, okay, we're going to strike here across this river. We're going to meet them at Lake Champlain. John Burgoyne was just fucking throwing dice before the battle the next morning.
That's when men could be men.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like everything I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to fuck, I want to gamble, and I want to take your wife for the night.
Yeah. And then go fight the next morning.
Yeah, but he was not on the front lines. Like, he was fighting. I mean, I want to fight, but I want to hang back and watch all you idiots get killed first, and then march in triumphantly. Yeah. And then bang your wife.
Sure. You want to be looking through the binoculars and say something like, give them another volley.
Volley.
Yeah, you want to do something like that.
I was like, did they play tennis back in the day?
I think that's what they... I don't even think they had artillery back then. They probably did.
A volley of arrows.
I think they just had legitimate cannons in the Revolutionary War. They definitely had artillery.
I feel like it'd be so easy to dodge a cannonball.
Yeah.
Like, think about, like, back in the 1700s. Yeah. Like, shooting a cannonball from deep, like, I don't know how many... hundreds of yards, like you could see it coming. You're like, oh, that's gonna hit me. I better move. Let me pack up my horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Cannons and guns have been around for a long time. Like the Japanese had shit like that.
I thought it was the Chinese that started all the gunpowder.
Yeah, well, the Chinese and the Japanese, they've been fucking each other for generations.
Fucking each other or fucking each other over?
That's what they all look
Both.
like.
Okay.
Mel Gibson, The Patriot. You guys seen this movie?
Yeah,
of course. The Patriot. So, the one thing that I will remember in relation to cannonballs and that movie in particular, we're talking about Revolutionary War, is that I had this one substitute teacher who, you guys remember the scene where there's a cannonball rolling on the ground and it just completely takes off this one dude's leg?
Sure.
No.
It's apparently it's a very big scene. I guess I might have seen it once, but I had this one like really old substitute teacher in middle school who I just have to say it because every time he was my substitute teacher over and over and over again, he'd be like, I helped on the Mel Gibson movie The Patriot, and let me tell you guys something. That was not just a special effect. This man was already an amputee. He only had one leg. That's how they did that effect.
That's
every substitute. Every time he came in, he said that. I must have heard it 6 or 7 times. So if I didn't tell the world, I would feel.
That's every substitute teacher in Los Angeles. They're just still trying to pitch their screenplay or make it in the business. Yeah, your dentist is fixing your teeth. He's like, I was the second stand-in on The Patriot.
Is there anything?
Do you have
sadder?
a good agent? As he's cleaning your fucking teeth.
Is there anything sadder than a substitute teacher or a dentist who's living off of an accomplishment? I mean, your substitute teacher was probably number 272 on the list of importance when it came to people who developed the movie The Patriot.
Maybe lower.
Probably lower. I'm sure a lot of the stand-ins did much harder work than he did. But he is coasting off that and will coast off that to the grave. He'll be telling whoever's surrounding him on his deathbed that story.
Yeah.
And then also, when we're talking about cannonballs, I had another point. It doesn't fucking matter.